7 habits that increase stroke risk in seniors. If you're over 60, you may think you're living a healthy lifestyle, but stop for a second and listen. Daily habits that seem harmless, like staying up late scrolling your phone, sipping a glass of wine in the evening, eating too much salt, or experiencing brief dizzy spells, may be silently pushing you closer to stroke, one of the leading causes of death among seniors in the U.S. The healthcare system often focuses on major risk factors like high cholesterol or heart disease, but these smaller daily habits are rarely discussed, even though they can be just as dangerous. According to a shocking 2024 report by the American Stroke Association, over 65% of strokes in seniors are linked to seemingly harmless lifestyle habits. These behaviors not only raise your risk but also accelerate damage to blood vessels in the brain, turning you into a ticking time bomb without you even realizing it. Today we're going to expose the truth about these 7 dangerous habits, explaining them in detail with scientific evidence, sharing real-life stories to show how relatable they are, and offering simple but powerful solutions to protect your health. Don't let these habits quietly steal your future. Let's uncover them now and take action before it's too late. Watch the full video, share your story in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss other important health secrets. 1. Staying up late, the brain's silent enemy. Staying up late, whether to watch movies, scroll social media, or due to insomnia, disrupts the circadian rhythm, which regulates sleep, hormones, and vital body functions. This internal clock helps the body switch between wakefulness and rest over a 24-hour cycle. Staying awake past 11 p.m. interrupts this cycle, leading to increased cortisol production, a stress hormone, at a time when the body should be winding down. Cortisol activates the sympathetic nervous system, causing blood vessels to constrict, blood pressure to rise, and chronic inflammation, all major stroke risk factors. According to a 2024 study from the U.S. National Institutes of Health, seniors who sleep fewer than 5 hours a night have a 46% higher risk of stroke compared to those who sleep 7 to 8 hours. In a study involving 15,000 people, researchers found that lack of sleep reduces the activity of the brain's glymphatic system, its detox system, which is most active during deep sleep. When this system is impaired, harmful proteins like amyloid beta build up in the brain, damaging blood vessels and increasing the risk of both ischemic and hemorrhagic stroke. Moreover, staying up late reduces melatonin production due to exposure to blue light from phone, TV, or computer screens. A 2023 study in the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine found that blue light exposure after 9 p.m. suppresses melatonin by up to 30%, reducing sleep quality and increasing inflammation-related blood vessel damage by 20%. Late-night activity also raises heart rate and cardiovascular strain. A 2024 American Journal of Cardiology study found that regular late-night sleepers have nighttime blood pressure readings 15 millimeters of mercury higher than those who go to bed on time, causing chronic stress on brain vessels. In older adults, these vessels are already fragile due to aging or atherosclerosis, making them more vulnerable to damage. Seniors are especially sensitive to sleep disruptions due to natural melatonin decline and brain function deterioration. Those with a history of high blood pressure, heart disease, anxiety, or diabetes are particularly affected, as late nights worsen these conditions. According to the CDC's 2024 data, about 22% of senior strokes are linked to sleep disorders, including staying up late. Late-night habits also often include late-night snacking or coffee, which further inflames and damages blood vessels. Mrs. Linda, 67, from California, used to stay up past midnight watching movies or scrolling through social media, believing it was a harmless way to enjoy retirement. But one morning, she woke up with facial numbness and trouble speaking. Doctors diagnosed a minor stroke and found her late-night habits had elevated her nighttime blood pressure, stressing her brain's blood vessels. Now she goes to bed before 10 p.m. and says, "I never imagined staying up late could be this dangerous. I wish I had changed sooner." Go to bed before 10 p.m. and aim for 7 to 8 hours of sleep each night. Create a relaxing bedtime routine like reading, soft music, or meditation. A 2023 study by the American Neurological Association found that sleeping before 10 p.m. reduces stroke risk by 25%. Avoid blue light from screens at least 1 hour before bed. Use blue light blocking glasses if needed, and try chamomile tea or deep breathing exercises to help you fall asleep. Regularly monitor your blood pressure and watch for signs of sleep disorders. 2. Evening alcohol, the risky relaxation drink. A glass of red wine or whiskey in the evening may seem like the perfect way to unwind, but for seniors this habit, especially after 6 p.m., can seriously harm the heart and brain. Alcohol, even in moderate amounts, stimulates the sympathetic nervous system, causing temporary vasodilation, relaxed vessels, which feels relaxing. But the body then compensates with vasoconstriction, resulting in sudden spikes in blood pressure and irregular heartbeat, both of which can trigger a stroke. A 2024 study in the American Journal of Neurology found that seniors who drank more than 1 drink per day after 6 p.m. had a 38% higher stroke risk than non-drinkers. The study, involving over 8,000 participants, showed that alcohol thins the blood by inhibiting platelets, increasing the risk of brain hemorrhages, a dangerous type of stroke. Alcohol also disrupts REM sleep, the phase crucial for repairing microvascular damage. A 2023 study from a U.S. National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute showed that evening alcohol increases inflammation levels by 18%, measured by C-reactive protein, CRP, which contributes to arterial plaque buildup, atherosclerosis. Alcohol also affects blood clotting and the function of the endothelium, the inner lining of blood vessels, increasing the risk of clot formation. In seniors, the liver and kidneys are less efficient at processing alcohol, prolonging its negative effects. A 2024 American Journal of Internal Medicine study found that evening alcohol increases the risk of arrhythmias by 20%, a direct stroke risk factor. Seniors with high blood pressure, heart disease, or diabetes are especially vulnerable, as alcohol exacerbates these conditions. According to 2024 CDC data, about 20% of strokes in seniors are linked to evening alcohol consumption, even in moderate amounts. Those taking blood pressure or blood-thinning medications must be extra cautious, as alcohol may interact with these drugs and increase bleeding risk. Mrs. Mary, 72, from Florida, used to believe that a glass of red wine each night was good for the heart. She typically sipped wine around 8 p.m., thinking it was a harmless way to relax. But one day, she suddenly felt dizzy and lost her balance. Doctors diagnosed her with a minor stroke, triggered by elevated nighttime blood pressure due to alcohol. Mrs. Mary has since swapped wine for herbal tea and says, "I never thought that glass of wine could be so harmful." Replace alcohol with herbal teas like chamomile or peppermint, or warm water with lemon and honey. A 2023 study from the American Medical Association found that replacing alcohol with herbal tea reduces nighttime blood pressure spikes by 20%. If you still want to drink, limit it to 1 small glass and only during lunchtime. Monitor your blood pressure regularly and reduce salty food intake to ease strain on your cardiovascular system. 3. Late dinner and lying down after eating, a dangerous position. Eating dinner late, especially after 8 p.m., and lying down immediately afterward is a common but dangerous habit. When you eat late, your body is forced to digest food at a time when your circadian rhythm is preparing for rest, leading to spikes in blood sugar and nighttime blood pressure. Lying down right after eating worsens the issue because gravity no longer helps digestion, causing blood to flow more slowly to the stomach and increasing pressure on the circulatory system. A 2024 study from the American Journal of Internal Medicine showed that people who eat late and lie down within 30 minutes after a meal have a 35% higher risk of stroke. This study, conducted on 12,000 individuals, found that lying down increases intra-abdominal pressure, triggers acid reflux and esophagitis, and stimulates systemic inflammation. Chronic inflammation damages the endothelium, the inner lining of blood vessels, promotes blood clot formation, a leading cause of ischemic stroke. Additionally, lying down reduces blood flow to the brain, potentially causing transient ischemic attacks, TIAs. A 2023 study from the American Geriatric Society found that lying down after eating increases the risk of cerebral blood flow disruption by 15%. Late-night eating also raises insulin and cortisol levels, putting stress on the blood vessels. A 2024 study in the American Journal of Cardiology found that eating after 8 p.m. increases nighttime blood glucose levels by 20%, placing additional pressure on the already fragile blood vessels in older adults. Older adults are especially vulnerable due to age-related vascular weakening, high blood pressure, diabetes, or GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease. According to the CDC in 2024, approximately 25% of strokes in seniors are indirectly related to poor mealtime habits and lying down after eating. Mr. John, 68, from Ohio, regularly ate dinner at 9 p.m. and lay down on the couch to watch TV immediately afterward. One evening, he experienced severe dizziness and weakness on one side of his body. Doctors diagnosed him with a minor stroke, triggered by late eating and lying down, which increased pressure on the brain's blood vessels. Now, Mr. John eats earlier and takes short walks after dinner. He shares, "I never imagined this habit could be so dangerous. Eat dinner before 7 p.m. and take a light 10-15-minute walk afterward, or sit upright." A 2023 study by the American Heart Association found that light activity after meals reduces stroke risk by 22%. Choose lighter meals rich in fiber, low in fat, and drink adequate water. Get regular health checkups to monitor blood pressure and signs of inflammation. 4. Eating too much salt or processed foods, blood pressure's worst enemy. Salty and processed foods, like sausages, fries, and fast food, are high in sodium, which raises blood pressure, the leading risk factor for stroke. Sodium causes the body to retain water, increasing blood volume and pressure on blood vessels. In seniors, kidney function is less efficient, making it harder to eliminate excess sodium, which worsens the problem. According to the American Heart Association in 2024, seniors who consume over 2,300 milligrams of sodium per day have a 40% higher stroke risk. The recommendation for those over 60 is to limit sodium intake to under 1,500 milligrams per day. Processed foods also contain trans fats and sugars that increase inflammation and atherosclerosis. A 2023 study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that a diet high in processed foods raises arterial plaque formation by 25%, a key precursor to stroke. Sodium also activates the renin-angiotensin system, causing blood vessels to constrict and increasing chronic hypertension. Seniors with a history of high blood pressure, kidney disease, or obesity are particularly at risk. According to the CDC in 2024, about 30% of strokes in older adults are linked to high-sodium diets. Those on blood pressure medication should be especially cautious, as excess sodium can reduce the medication's effectiveness. Mr. Henry, 65, from New York, enjoyed fries and sausages every evening. One day, he experienced a severe headache and temporarily lost consciousness. Doctors diagnosed a stroke caused by chronic hypertension from a high-sodium diet. Mr. Henry now eats more vegetables and monitors his sodium intake. He says, "I never realized junk food could be this dangerous." Limit sodium to under 1,500 milligrams per day. Prioritize fresh foods like vegetables, fruits, and lean proteins. A 2023 study from the American Medical Association found that a low-sodium diet reduces stroke risk by 20%. Use natural spices like garlic and ginger instead of salt. Read nutrition labels carefully and check your blood pressure weekly. 5. Lack of physical activity after retirement, a harmful sedentary life. A sedentary lifestyle, especially after retirement, reduces blood circulation and increases the risk of blood clots, which are the primary cause of ischemic stroke. Physical activity helps maintain vascular elasticity, improves blood flow to the brain, and reduces inflammation. According to the American Journal of Sports Medicine in 2024, People who sit for more than 8 hours a day have double the risk of stroke compared to those who exercise at least 30 minutes a day. The study found that inactivity raises CRP, a marker of inflammation, and lowers oxygen flow to the brain. Moreover, a sedentary lifestyle increases the risk of obesity and diabetes, both of which accelerate atherosclerosis. A 2023 study by the American Heart Association found that lack of movement increases the risk of carotid artery clots, which supply blood to the brain, by 30%. Seniors at risk for obesity, diabetes, or heart disease are particularly vulnerable. According to the CDC in 2024, about 28% of senior strokes are linked to sedentary lifestyles. Mrs. Susan, 69, from Arizona, became inactive after retirement, spending most of her day watching TV. One day, she felt weakness on one side of her body and was diagnosed with a minor stroke. Doctors identified her sedentary lifestyle as a contributing factor to clot formation. Now Mrs. Susan walks 30 minutes daily and says, "I never knew sitting too much could be this dangerous." Aim for at least 30 minutes of physical activity each day, such as walking, yoga, or gardening. A 2023 study by the American Heart Association found that moderate activity reduces stroke risk by 30%. If mobility is an issue, try seated exercises or stretches. Get regular checkups to monitor cardiovascular health. 6. Ignoring subtle warning signs: dizziness, numbness, slurred speech. Dizziness, numbness in the hands or feet, or slurred speech may be signs of a transient ischemic attack, TIA, a brief interruption in blood flow to the brain. A TIA usually lasts only a few minutes, but serves as a serious warning of an impending stroke. According to the American Stroke Association, 2024, about 15% of people who experience a TIA will suffer a full stroke within 3 months if no action is taken. TIAs are often caused by small blood clots or temporary narrowing of the arteries, reducing oxygen supply to the brain. A 2023 study from the American Journal of Neurology revealed that ignoring TIAs increases the risk of a major stroke by 80%. Older adults with a history of high blood pressure, high cholesterol, or heart disease are especially prone to TIAs. According to the CDC, 2024, around 10% of strokes could be prevented if TIAs were detected and treated early. Mr. James, 71, living in Illinois, had frequently ignored brief dizzy spells, assuming they were just signs of fatigue. One day, he suffered a severe stroke that temporarily took away his ability to speak. Doctors later confirmed that the dizziness was actually caused by undiagnosed TIAs, warning signs he had overlooked. Mr. James now monitors his health closely and shares, "I wish I had gone to the doctor sooner." Seek medical attention immediately if you experience dizziness, numbness, or slurred speech. A 2023 study from the American Journal of Neurology found that early intervention after a TIA reduces the risk of stroke by 80%. Keep track of your symptoms and schedule regular checkups. 7. Not monitoring blood pressure regularly, the silent killer. High blood pressure is the leading cause of stroke. It damages blood vessels and promotes the formation of clots or brain hemorrhages. Among seniors, high blood pressure often shows no symptoms, making regular monitoring crucial. According to the American Heart Association, 2024, seniors who do not monitor their blood pressure have a 50% higher risk of stroke. Elevated blood pressure weakens the endothelial lining of arteries and increases the risk of atherosclerosis. A 2023 study from the American Journal of Internal Medicine found that uncontrolled blood pressure above 140/90 mmHg increases stroke risk by 45%. People with a family history of stroke, obesity, or diabetes are especially in need of regular monitoring. According to the CDC, 2024, about 35% of strokes in seniors are linked to uncontrolled high blood pressure. Mrs. Margaret, 70, living in Georgia, rarely checked her blood pressure, believing she was in good health. One day, she collapsed from a stroke caused by unchecked hypertension. She now checks her blood pressure weekly and says, "I had no idea blood pressure could be so dangerous." Measure your blood pressure at least once a week using an automatic monitor. A 2023 study from the American Medical Association found that keeping blood pressure in check reduces stroke risk by 40%. Combine this with a low-sodium diet, regular physical activity, and routine doctor visits. These 7 habits, staying up late, drinking alcohol in the evening, eating late and lying down afterward, consuming too much salt, avoiding physical activity, ignoring small warning signs, and not monitoring blood pressure, are silently increasing your risk of stroke. But you can take action today. Eat earlier, replace alcohol with herbal tea, move your body, pay attention to warning signs, and check your blood pressure regularly. According to the American Stroke Association, 2024, people who adjust these daily habits can reduce their risk of stroke by up to 50% within 5 years. Share your story in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to receive more vital health information. Take action now to live healthier and longer.